Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today we are here for another ink review. And today we are reviewing this ink, the Leonardo Officina Italiana Purple. This is an ink that is made by Leonardo Officina Italiana. You see the name of the brand here, the logo, the Italian flag, and also the capacity of 40 milliliters. It comes in this bottle with a nice shape with 8 facets, so it is an octagonal shaped bottle. It is quite nice. It has a round bottom, so I don't know if it is easy to fill the pen until the last drop of ink, but I think it is a nice looking bottle. I did not buy this one. I got this from Leonardo when they sent me the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande Dark Hawaii for review purposes. So, this is the ink. Now, let's see really the ink, not just the bottle. So, first thing, we'll go to our swatch. And what do we have here? I think this is a quite interesting ink, because when you look at it, you can see there is a possible shading between places where more ink is laid down and places with less ink. But the most interesting, I'm not that much into this kind of thing, but the most interesting thing for many is the amount of sheening, and I think you can already see by now. Let me bring this closer to the camera and see. Just see this crazy green gold sheen. It is very, very beautiful. I would say it is awesome if I were going to use that kind of words. Now let me show this compared with another regular ink, because I don't have that many violet or purple ink, so I have to show what I have. I have here another regular ink, which is the Diamine Violet, as you may see, that is it's more dull and is more on the blue side, and this is more on the pinkish side. But in this ink you also have a little bit of a similar sheen to that, but much less than that one. I don't like to compare the inks that I have with inks that are just special editions, although I compare inks with other brands that are no longer made. But I will do it this time with inks from the Diamine Inkvent Calendar 2019, because they were also released as regular editions, so they are not special editions anymore. And I have those from when I made the review of those inks. So, we have here one of them, which is the Purple Bow, which is an ink also with some sheen, like a dark brown sheen, but not that much, and it is an ink that has two strong components, a purple and a blue one. And we also have here, I also do Winter Miracle, which is a crazy ink with the purple, which is quite similar to that one, and also some sheen, golden sheen there, but this one also has shimmer, so this is a more complex ink. But if we are not talking about inks with shimmer, I would say this is the most amazing of those inks, if you are into this kind of thing. So, beautiful color. This is also beautiful, I think, but beautiful color in a different kind of way. This will be in a broader nib, more like a blue. This one is this. It is hard to describe. Beautiful color. Now, we will see the chromatography, because I think this is also always interesting. So I do the chromatographies, not the correct way, let's call it like that. I put the line here on the bottom with a pen and I let it dry. Usually to make chromatography you don't let them dry and you just put it in the water to let the water run up. I let it dry and then I let the water run up. I think it is useful because sometimes it allows us to see where or if the ink has some water resistant component, and you see there may be a little purple there, and this color is much pink and purple, so it's just this. It's quite simple ink in that sense, but very interesting when it is on paper. Now, the pen that I used to make the writing samples and everything else for this review was this one. And this is a Leonardo pen. This is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore and the color is Passion Red. This video is not to show the pen, it's to show the ink, but I think this material is amazing. Look at that. Now, let's see how it behaves on paper. And we have here 3 papers, as I always do. First paper is the moleskin paper. And on moleskin paper, this is a yellowish paper, you have these, you have some feathering, not much, but you have some feathering, and you don't get much line variation. In some parts a little bit like up here, but on the rest there is not, I think I said line variation, color variation, shading variation. I don't see any, I see some feathering, and I find the pen to write broader in this paper because this paper is more absorbent. On this side you can see through a little bit, but there is no bleed through, only there in one spot and a little bit there, but there's not much bleed through, which is a nice thing that usually happens a lot on moleskin paper. Then I have here, I forgot to say, the nib on this pen is a medium nib. It's also written there. So in the Oxford paper, the ink behaves in a flawless way, because you can see a little bit of shading, but not much. But you can actually find some. You have a very fine line, much finer than you find on the moleskin paper, as was to be expected, but you cannot really see any sheen. I think to see the sheen with this ink you would need to have a much wetter nib. On the other side of the paper there's nothing. No bleed through, no ghosting, nothing. There's nothing there. Perfect. On the Navigator copy paper, I think the behavior is more similar to the behavior with the moleskin, but with just a little less feathering. Not much feathering, but a little bit less than on moleskin paper. But the overall behavior is the same, and there may be a little spot of bleeding through, but I would say that this is even more opaque than that one. So the behavior on the Navigator copy paper is a little better. And now we'll go to the final paper, which is the Rhodia.pad, which is the same kind of paper that I used on the, look at the sheen, that I used on the Swatch. And here you can see the writing, and the writing is quite good. You don't see any special, let me hold it higher. I think there's no feathering, there's anything that you would not like to be there, and you can even see some shading, but not that much with this pen. Also, you cannot see any sheen. So I could not find sheen when writing, at least with this pen. Maybe I would need a much wetter pen that I don't have. I didn't see that kind of sheen, but the behavior of the ink is very good on this paper. You will not see any bleed through or anything. It's very similar to what happens with the Oxford paper. Then, about the drying time, I would say this is a fast drying ink, because at 15 seconds the smear is almost invisible, and at 20 seconds there's no smear at all, so it gets really dry. And then we have here the water resistance test, and you will see that the color washes almost completely away, as you can see there. But there is a hint of what was written below or beneath the water, which is this little line. It is not very strong or very visible, but you definitely can see the writing below. It is like a strong pink there, so you can really use it. I think this ink behaves really well, and I have to say that I like it a lot. And finally, in these ink reviews, I'm going for the typical phrase and the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy. I think I was lazy in doing the lazy dog. So you see that the ink is very nice. It looks very wet when it is on paper, but then it dries quickly. The performance is good, the color is beautiful, and it is dark enough to be used in most work situations without many problems. So, this is all I had to show you today. I try to do more ink reviews or ink reviews more often, and I hope to see you soon. So, see you next video. Bye.